About 20 million American children have not been in the classroom for nearly a year. There's a mental health crisis happening.
There really is.
Women are dropping out of the workforce. Is this a national emergency?
It is a national emergency. It generally is a national emergency, and women are dropping out of the workforce because they either have to stay home with their children, or if they had a job, go to work, and what do? Child care is extremely expensive. That's why one of the things in the proposal I put together provides for child care as well.
Do you think it's time for schools to reopen?
I think it's time for schools to reopen safely. Teachers want to go back. My wife's a teacher. They want to go back to school, but what they were initially told, and the science seemed to dictate, is you have to have fewer people in the classroom, you have to have ventilation systems that have been reworked, you have to have more school buses because not as many kids can get on one school bus, you've got to have sanitation and in the everything from the dining room to the laboratories. Our CDC commissioner is going to be coming out with science-based judgment within, I think, as early as Wednesday, as to lay out what the minimum requirements are. I made a commitment that we try to get K through 8 back to school by the end of this 100 days.
There are teachers' unions across the country, though, that are resisting efforts to open classrooms. Mike Bloomberg, you know Mike Bloomberg,
Yep.
He has said it's time for Joe Biden to stand up to teachers' unions because kids are the most important things. Is that going to happen?
They are, and I've met with the teachers' unions. They want to go back to school. They need some guidance.
As you can see, there is a lot on President Biden's plate. Joining us now, White House Communications Director Kate Bedingfield. Kate, thanks for joining us. So Joe Biden says he wants, great to have you. Joe Biden says he wants to work with Republicans. Will he be working with Republicans on COVID relief? Is that going to happen?
He's trying to. He's put forward a big, bold package, the American Rescue Plan. He's been working with Republicans to try to secure their support for that plan. You know, he met with a number of Republican senators last week to hear their thoughts and their recommendations on how we should adjust the package. So he is working with Republicans because this crisis doesn't see party. There are no blue states when it comes to COVID. There are no red states when it comes to COVID. As a country, we are all in this together. So he's put forward a bold plan that's going to fund vaccine distribution. It's going to make sure that we get shots in Americans' arms. It's going to ramp up testing so that we can move more freely because we're able to test and we're able to know and understand where the virus is. It's going to provide money to help get schools reopened. You heard him just talking there about how it's time to get schools reopened safely. It's time to get them reopened safely. And the money in this package is going to help do that. It's going to help schools have the resources that they need to ensure that they're able to open safely. So his hope is to be able to work with Republicans. But what he has said, Mika, is that this is a crisis. He's not going to sacrifice speed. He believes that urgently that we have to get this money out the door. So he's not going to slow the process down. He hopes Republicans will vote for it. He believes that, you know, for these Republicans to go home to their states and have to say that they didn't support this package, that's a tough lift. But ultimately, he wants to move quickly because the cost of inaction here is just enormously high.
A lot of facets to this. One of them is the minimum wage. Do you think all Democrats should support a raising of the minimum wage to $15 an hour?
The president certainly does. He believes that no American should work a full-time job and have to live in poverty, you know, particularly the workforce that has taken care of us during this crisis, people who are on the front lines, essential workers. You know, he has said many times it's good to celebrate them. We should celebrate them, but we should also pay them. We should pay them. They should not make a poverty wage working these jobs. So he certainly believes we should raise the minimum wage. It's why he put it in the package. It's an important piece of this package, and it's something that he very much wants to see pass.
And finally, at least for me, and then I think Willie wants to take over, but I want to ask you about the unprecedented impact that this crisis has had on women. We heard President Biden in his interview with Norah O'Donnell talking about that and talking about how he's putting money in there for child care because one of the big issues is everything has fallen on them, taking care of kids at home, trying to do jobs, losing their jobs. How do we help women get themselves back into the workforce And by the way, equal pay, which is something that, was a priority during the Obama administration. It has been a priority for many, but they've been set back in a massive way during this pandemic. Getting back in is going to be tough, and they're not even paid the amount that their male counterparts are if they do somehow get back into the workforce.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And President Biden believes that's outrageous. He has proposed a number of pieces in this package to try to particularly support women. Obviously, you heard him talk about child care, the child tax credit, and a lot of essential workers who are on the front lines of this crisis are women. So, unemployment insurance extension and food assistance. I mean, these are things in this bill that are particularly going to help women get back on their feet. But broadly speaking, he believes that we have to do more to ensure that we're not losing an entire generation of women from the workforce, which, has a tremendous economic impact over time. We can't afford to do nothing and allow this large cohort of women to fall out of the workforce. That is simply unacceptable. So there are a lot of pieces of the American Rescue Plan that are specifically designed to help ensure that women can get back on their feet, get back in the workforce. Child care, of course, incredibly important. I'm a mom. I know you're a mom. For everyone who's been juggling the difficulty of child care and working during this pandemic, what the president's put forward is a proposal to try to help make things a little easier and ensure that women can get back in the workforce, which is critically important to the health of our overall economy.
Hey, thanks so much for watching our YouTube channel. You can follow up on today's top stories and breaking news, or catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.